You know, back in the 16th century, there was one name that echoed from the gates of Vienna all the way to the walls of Baghdad, inspiring both fear and a whole lot of admiration: Sultan Suleiman. His reign wasn't just some chapter in the Ottoman Empire's history. It was its golden age. We're talking about the absolute peak of its power and culture, a time that literally reshaped the world. But how does one guy pull that off? Seriously, how do you not only conquer enormous territories, but also build a legacy so deep, so profound, that we're still talking about it 500 years later? Well, that's the incredible puzzle we're going to piece together today. So his reign was long, 46 years, from 1520 to 1566, and it's known as the empire's Golden Age. This wasn't just about swords and shields, though. This was an era when Istanbul became, without a doubt, the center of the world, a buzzing hub for art, science, and global trade. And what's really fascinating is that he's remembered by two completely different names. To Europeans, he was Suleiman the Magnificent, a title that speaks to his insane power and wealth. But to his own people, he was Kanuni, which means the Lawgiver. And those two titles right there, they tell the whole story of his incredible two-sided legacy. All right, let's start with that Western title, the Magnificent. This was a name forged in the heat of battle, because Suleiman led one of the most successful military expansions in history. He really was a conqueror of 3 continents. And get this, he was relentless right from the get-go. In his first 10 years alone, he completely redrew the map of Eastern Europe. He takes Belgrade in 1521, absolutely crushes the Hungarian army at Mohatz in 26, and by 1529, his armies are literally at the gates of Vienna. If you're a ruler in Europe back then, this must have felt like an unstoppable wave crashing over you. You see, for Suleiman, his campaigns in Europe were, well, they were kind of his great obsession. He saw the continent as the main frontier for Ottoman power, and he personally led his armies again and again, going head-to-head with the other great European superpower of the day, the Habsburgs. And look, these weren't just random land grabs. This was pure strategy. Belgrade was the key to the front door of Europe. Mohatch didn't just defeat Hungary, it basically dismantled it. And even though the Ottomans didn't take Vienna, just the fact that their cannons were firing on a major European capital, that was a terrifying show of force and ambition. But here's the crazy part. While all of this is happening in Europe, Suleiman is fighting a whole other war on his eastern frontier, this time against his great rival, the Safavid Empire of Persia. This was a true clash of titans for control of the Middle East. And through these long, difficult campaigns, he managed to conquer the historic city of Baghdad and all of modern-day Iraq. This secured vital trade routes and cemented Ottoman dominance over the Islamic heartlands. Okay, so he's fighting on 2 massive land fronts. And you think, that's enough, right? Nope. Suleiman also poured a ton of resources into his navy with one clear goal: to turn the Mediterranean, which was once a Roman lake, into an Ottoman lake. And this is where you see his genius wasn't just on the battlefield himself. It was about spotting talent. He gave control of his navy to the legendary Admiral Hayreddin Barbarossa. Under Barbarossa, the Ottoman fleet just dominated the Mediterranean, securing North Africa and famously crushing a combined European fleet at the Battle of Preveza in 1538. But here's where the story takes a turn. Suleiman's vision wasn't just about conquering lands. He wanted to build a capital that would absolutely blow people's minds, transforming Istanbul into a breathtaking monument of imperial power. And the man for that job was the legendary architect Mimar Sinan. With Suleiman's backing, Sinan didn't just build spectacular mosques like his masterpiece, the Suleymaniye. No, he built a living, breathing city, creating all the vital infrastructure, the bridges, schools, and hospitals that you need for a huge, thriving population. And this amazing architectural legacy leads us right into the other side of his identity, the one that earned him his name in the East. He was more than a warrior, more than a builder. He was a sultan of law and justice. This is where he gets that other title, the one that really stuck, Al-Kanuni, the Lawgiver. Think about it. He inherited this sprawling empire spread across 3 continents, and every region had its own local customs and laws. Suleiman knew that conquest alone wouldn't hold it all together. He needed one single, unified legal system for everybody. So his approach, it was just methodical and honestly brilliant. He got scholars to collect all the scattered local laws and then he harmonized them. The real genius move, though, was how he managed to balance secular state law, called Qanun, with traditional Islamic law, or Sharia. This created this comprehensive, flexible legal framework that could govern everything from taxes to land rights for all his diverse subjects. This new code literally became the blueprint for the empire for the next 300 years. So when you take a step back and look at the whole picture, you see this ruler of incredible complexity, whose impact is still felt today. His legacy really is one of a powerful duality: the warrior and the statesman. And this slide just lays it out perfectly, right? The two faces of the Sultan. On one hand, you've got the relentless warrior, always on the battlefield, pushing the boundaries of his empire. And on the other, you have the thoughtful statesman, the guy building a just society, funding a golden age of culture, and creating a legal code that would last for centuries. It's this unique mix of conqueror and creator that makes him such a monumental figure. And, it's almost poetic how his life ended. It was exactly how he lived it. In 1566, at 71 years old, Suleiman died, not in his palace, but on yet another military campaign in Hungary, still leading his army from the front, a soldier sultan right to the very end. So when you put it all together, the warrior who redrew the map, the builder who transformed a city, and the lawgiver who defined an entire empire, you're left with one really compelling question. Was Suleiman the greatest, most impactful leader of his age? I'll let you think about that one.